It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm just on my way to grab a cup of coffee before I start my day. But anyway, if you was watching the last video, then you watched it all the way to the end, then you saw that I told you I was going to give you the story of how I almost drowned in the next video. And so today I'm gonna tell y'all that story. Stay tuned.
Hey there, welcome to Starbucks. So you want white mocha and French vanilla?
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll see you at the window, 1357. Thank you kindly.
All right. Thank you.
You are welcome.
All right, you too. Yeah, just had to make a run by Starbucks real quick. But anyway, let's jump into the story. So, of course, you know, if you saw the last video, my wife and I, we surprised the kids with a little weekend getaway to Kalahari. We had a blast. As long as I've been going to Kalahari, it's this one ride that has a reputation. I always heard people say to me, as long as I've been going there, like, yo, like you can't get on this road, you can't get on this water slide unless you know how to swim, and you know, basically, like, unless you know how to swim, it's basically dangerous. You know what I'm saying? All the while I followed the rules on that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, all right, I never touched it and never messed with it. You know what I'm saying? But this time around, you know, I've been going for so long and I always just walk past it, and it's just like, and this time I was just kind of like, yo, let me just see what's to this. Like, I've always been comfortable in water, always. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to swim, but I do a mean doggy paddle. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I've always felt comfortable in deeper waters, 6 feet, 8 feet. I remember back when I was in middle school, I actually took swimming classes, which is where I learned how to doggy paddle at. Back in middle school, my final exam, in order for me to pass the class, I had to swim from 3 feet all the way to 8 feet and then back to 3 feet again. And I doggy paddled the entire way. After I did that, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me absolutely nothing. And ever since then, I just been super confident about water and being in the pool and stuff like that, man. So with me having that confidence, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess doggy paddle should be good enough, right? Like, just a water slide, right? Just 6 feet of water. I've swum to 6 feet, no problem. Get up the stairs or whatever. There's a lot of incidents in this story where it should have made me get off and get out of line, and I literally ignore all of the signs. Like, it was so many signs, like so many. And anyway, I was in line, right? I'm in line. First thing that happened, there was a lady. She was a few people ahead of me. She had her son with her. And I guess she told the lifeguard, because on this water slide, by the way, which is called the Tanzanian Twister. It's called the Tanzanian Twister. That's what it's called. There's a lifeguard at the top, which is the person, and then there's also a lifeguard at the bottom at the pool area, obviously, for obvious reasons, right? And they work in tandem with one another. So the lifeguard at the bottom lets the lifeguard know at the top, at the beginning of the water slide, when the pool is clear, and he can send down the next individual. You know, the next individual can go down the water slide or whatever. And so she tells the lifeguard at the top, she says, hey, she had her younger son with her, and she was like, don't allow him to go down until I come back up. And so he was like, yeah, cool, whatever, go do what you gotta do. She goes down this water slide or whatever, leaves her son at the top, and we standing there. All of a sudden, we heard like a loud bang noise, and we like, it kind of shook this thing a little bit, and we like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I'm not quite sure, but I want to say, I think I heard that it was because she wasn't positioned correctly. It's a certain posture that you got to have when you go down the water slide. You're supposed to have your hands, both of your arms behind your head like this. Obviously, I'm holding the camera with my right hand, so I can't, but you get the idea. Both your arms are supposed to be like this going down the water slide. I don't think she did that, and I think she bumped her head a little bit on there going down. That's what the story is. I could be wrong, but that's what I was told. That's what I heard, whatever. So anyway, she goes down the water slide. She comes back up, and when she comes back up, she grabs her son like, no, you're not getting on this. Like, come on. She grabs her son. They walked down the stairs together. Like, you're not getting on this. Strike one. Strike number two. As you get closer to the top of the stairs, the lifeguard, like, periodically, he's letting you know the closer you get, like, hey, listen, if you can't swim, do not get on this water slide. If you can't swim, don't get on, yada, yada, yada. There's a group of three in front of me, a guy and two girls. So the guy says, wait a minute, you got to know how to swim to be on to ride this? He said, yes, you have to know how to swim. And, forget this, we out of here. Him and the two girls, down the stairs they go. At this point, I started getting nervous. I said, okay. The lady came and grabbed her son, left. A group of three grown adults heard that you needed to know how to swim, left. Here's strike three. I get to the top of the stairs. So at this point, I'm a little nervous. I just saw basically two groups of people just leave, like get off, and, naturally that's going to make you a little nervous. Like, okay, what is going on with this ride that people was like kind of spooked out or whatever, right? I stopped the lifeguard. I asked him, I said, hey, Mr. Lifeguard, I said, I know how to doggy pedal. Is that good enough? Mr. Lifeguard says, no, that's not good enough. You have to know how to swim. Here's the reason why you have to know how to swim. He says, when you go down a water slide and you fall into the pool, he said, the reason why you have to know how to swim is because once you fall into that pool, the water that's falling from the water slide is constantly pushing you down. And so you have to know how to swim in order to get out of that. So I sat there and I actually made the decision to get off the ride. Turned around. I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back down the stairs. As I'm walking down the stairs, a guy stops me. Hey, man, you getting off the ride? I said, yeah, man, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says you have to know how to swim. I don't really know how to swim that well or whatever. He says, man, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. He was like, man, all you got to do is when you fall in the water, just stand up. That's it. Like, it's they try to make it like it's not that bad. I said, well, you done this route before? He said, yeah, sure. I've done it before. I said, you know how to swim? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know how to swim. Yeah. But you don't have to know how to swim to ride the ride, man. You just listen. It's not that bad. Like, and so he just kept going, and he just he talked me into it. He did. He talked me into it. I should not have listened to him. And I go ahead, I take my place back in line, and I was next. So I get on the roller coaster. I mean, I don't know why I keep calling it a roller coaster. Water slide. I get on the water slide. Right before I go down, lifeguard says, hey man, you sure you can handle this? You can swim? I said, yeah. I said, I'll be okay. He's like, all right, man, I believe you. Like, literally, no lie. That's exactly what he said, no exaggeration. So, yeah, all right, man, I believe you. Go ahead. Boom. Go down the water slide. I'm going. Boom, boom. The water slide itself was probably the smoothest. And when I say the smoothest water slide I've ever been on, like, a lot of the other water slides in Kalahari, at least the ones on the inside, I haven't been to the outside. I plan on going to the outside water slides once it gets hot when it open backs up. But a lot of the other water slides are kind of rough a little bit, rough on your back and things like that. This is literally the smoothest water slide I've ever been on. Like, the ride was amazing. First part of it was fun. The second part, not so much. As I'm going around the toilet bowl, what happens is, for some odd reason, I fall in head first. So I'm going around in a circle. Boom, time for me to fall in. I fall in. I basically tip over. Head first, boom, fell into the water. Cool. I ain't even tripping. Once again, I'm very comfortable in water. I know how to doggy paddle. I'm gonna swim out this thing. Boom. Fall into the water head first. Eyes are closed. I don't know how to see underwater, so my eyes is closed during this whole ordeal. I fall in head first. As I'm underwater, I feel my body turn. My body turns right side up. My feet hit the ground. I push myself up off the ground and I start to swim back to the top. Swimming, it's kind of feeling like it's taking me forever to get back to the top or whatever, but whatever. I swim to the top and I catch my air. My head comes out the water. I get a grasp of air. Boom, the water pushes me right back down into the water. So I literally grab a breath of air, boom, right back into the water. So I'm like, oh, shoot. So here I am, pushing myself back to the top again. Boom. Get back to the top, get another grasp of air. Boom, water drops me back down. The lifeguard literally was like, he told me this was going to happen and I didn't listen. So I'm literally get a gasp of air, water pushes me back down, fight to get back to the top of it again, get a gasp of air, the water pushes me right back down. This time, I'm fighting to get back to the top again. I end up on the outside. It's like the water rains down in the middle of the pool, and then you got the outside where the edge of the pool is. I come up on the edge. At this point, I open my eyes enough to kind of see where I'm at, and I see that I'm on the edge, and I try to grab for the side of the pool. But grabbing for the side of the pool, it was so tall, I almost had it, but my hand slipped, and then I fell back into the water again. So at this time, I'm in full-blown panic mode at this point. I can't see nothing. All I know is I keep going underwater, and I keep going underwater, and I'm losing air. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just losing air, and I'm panicking now at this point. So I'm panicking. I'm in full-blown drown mode at this point. I'm drowning. Boom, boom. All of a sudden, I feel two hands grab me from under my armpits and lift me up out the water. Finally, I'm saved. I catch my breath. You know, I was fighting really hard. I was struggling really hard. I was exhausted. I catch my breath for a second, and I'm like, okay, somebody done came and got me. I turn around. It was a lady, and she was struggling, and she was red, and that lady was struggling to lift me up out that water, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad for her. And what made it so bad, it was two guy lifeguards at the end of the pool, like, watching her lift me up out the water. I'm like, y'all Negroes couldn't come in and help her? Like, she was turning red, struggling. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I said, oh my gosh. And then, as I'm coming out the water, I see a group of people standing there watching me. I'm like, was this situation that bad? Like, people literally stopped to watch to see if I was going to get saved or not. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. So she lifted me up out the water. I was able to catch my breath, and then I doggy paddled the rest of the way to get out the pool. So I just needed somebody to help me get out the water. Once I can get out the whole thing of the water pushing me down, like that whole once I got away from that water pushing me down out the water, I was okay. So I swam out of the pool. You know, the other lifeguards were standing there, sir, are you okay? Are you okay, sir? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I got a group of people standing at the pool watching me get out. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Now, this is by far, I would say, probably top 2. This is definitely in the top 5 embarrassing moments of my life. My original plan was to film me going down this water slide with my GoPro. Obviously, because of the way you have to go down the water slide, I wasn't able to film with my GoPro. I didn't have my other gear that I would need, like to either wear it on my head or wear it on my chest or anything like that. None of those harnesses. I brought none of that with me. So I was like, damn, okay, I can't film this or whatever. So I ended up having to leave my GoPro at the top of the water slide, and I had to go back and get it. Top 5 embarrassing moments of my life is me walking, taking the biggest walk of shame ever. So I'm walking, and as I'm walking upstairs, the entire line of people, everybody standing in that line, literally just watched me. It was just like dead silent. And it was like people seeing a ghost. Like, I'm like, yo, this dude just almost drowned right in front of us. Like, they looking at me like, they just looking at me. It's dead silent. Nobody's talking. And I just getting blank stares as I'm walking up these stairs to go get my GoPro. Get to the stairs, grab my GoPro. The lifeguard just looking at me like, bruh, I told you, bruh. Like, I told you not to do it. Like, I told you if you couldn't swim, he didn't say none of this with his mouth, but I could see in his mind he was cussing me out. I know he was. He was cussing me out for sure. The look of disgust on his face was just like, bruh, I told you. Like, you told me you had it, and you down there drowning it. Bruh, what you doing? Grab my GoPro. And man, let me tell y'all something. Not only will I never ever do that water slide again, it's by the grace of God that I survived. I'm so thankful, man, because that was kind of a traumatic experience for me, you know, and it's not making me afraid to be in water again. I still feel comfortable around water, but it's just the fact that, You know, I almost drowned. Like, I could have been out of here. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. But it's just the grace of God, you know, that kept me. I'm still here, you know, still alive and breathing and everything like that. A few things that we can take away from this, you know, all jokes aside, you know, it's a funny story, you know, to say the least, you know, but it's also something to learn from this. I don't care if it's a water slide, a roller coaster. When you go to a ride and they tell you you have to have a certain qualifications for it, you have to be a certain size, a certain height, you have to know how to do XYZ. Listen, because you listening and knowing the situation that you're putting yourself in can be the difference in between life and death for you. And that's on the real. Like, if you get to a water slide and they tell you, hey, you need to know how to swim, and you know that you can't swim, don't get on it. You know what I'm saying? If you go to a ride and you know that you know, you may not be qualified to get on it, or you know, maybe you don't fit in a chair snug, or whatever the case may be, even on you, if you don't feel safe, you know, doing it for whatever reason, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because your life could hang in the balance. I'm grateful to God because, you know, I survived and made it out. You know what I'm saying? But the next person may not be so lucky. When we go to these places, we got to make sure that we are safety, and you're safe, you're being safe, and a lot of times you being safe, it's not going to just depend on, you know, you making decisions for yourself, but it's also going to depend on you following the rules that they have set out for you on these rides. And that's, you know, that's pretty much it. Listen, y'all, I thank y'all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a video on this channel. And as I always say, stress less and travel more. I'll see you again in the next video. Peace.